Hey guys, it's Dane, Jonah Custom Guitars, and we're on the peg head repair again. I attempted to shade this, only the lacquer I made up was a little on the red side once it started to build up. Just use the Stumac color tone called red mahogany. Anyway, I've got some brown trans tint, but it doesn't mix as well, I've found, so I'm reluctant to use that. So anyway, I wiped all that off and rediscovered once again that the lacquer, the finish isn't de-lacquered because it kind of caused some other problems. I sanded it up. So I thought, well, you know what, I'm going to use my McFadden's grain filler, and it's actually stains the wood as well as fills the grain. I thought, well, that'll be a good idea because then my color will be closer that way and I could just sheet lacquer over it. Well, it's hard as a rock. It's hard as a rock with some juice on it. So then I thought, okay, I'm going to go this route. I'm going to sand, take some end grain on some scrap mahogany and sand it. And then with shellac, this is the this stuff here that's actually actual shellac. It's 100%, right there, 100% shellac. So I'm gonna do a little, you know, like a French polishing pad. You know, I'll get all this wrapped up. Anyway, and then have the mahogany dust, which, by the way, this isn't the right shade of mahogany, but put a little shellac on there, dab a little dust on it, and do this, and work that dust into the grain, and just keep doing that, and that should fill the grain up. I noticed once I started shading, I didn't think about it, but it opened up a lot of the grain with the sanding on it, and then also there's some areas that just were not, you know, from the crack and everything that were the previous crack in the repair. Actually, I hadn't really thought about it much, but my repair doesn't really have a whole lot that's open there, but the previous one had some areas that needed to be filled up. So anyway, I have a piece of mahogany that I went hunting around. This is a better shade for the wood I'm working with. The other one was way too yellow. So I'm going to run over the bandsaw real quick and whack a little piece off of that, and then clamp this down to the bench and sand some end grain and start doing this. Be right back. So I haven't tried this grain fill method yet. This is actually something I saw. Now I have to stop and think about what the guy's name is. He's O'Brien, guitar builder in Colorado, and I'm blanking on his first name now, but O'Brien Guitars. Very, very knowledgeable guy. Enjoy his videos a lot. If you haven't seen any of his stuff, you need to look him up. I got to pound this block off because I got some ebony dust in it. Pound it and flip it over. I don't want any ebony dust in there. I don't know. Moving this is going to help at all. Too much. I am doing this with my iPad, which makes it tricky, but I don't need to become good at filming. Maybe, we'll see, maybe I do need to become good at it, but I'd rather increase my skills at guitars than videos. So just making some end dust here, right? if I could figure out a way to capture it in one of my power sanders with any sort of consistency, I would just use that method, but I don't think I'm going to need much anyway, so this should work. The downside to doing this with shellac is that once I do this, I will not be able to actually stain the wood with an oil stain or anything else, because the shellac will seal the wood. So I am definitely going to have to be doing this with shading. I get a little piece of wax paper. And I'm going to put that right there. So plenty of dust for what I'm doing. Okay, so you see the dust? Okay. Alright, I'm going to move the camera again. Alright, so I'm just going to wad this up. And this is this is pretty much how you do a French polish pad. Put a wad inside a smooth piece and just try to get it all smoothed out. So, just going to get a little bit of the shellac on there and then dab it into the powder and then just work it in. And according to Brian, that's a good way to fill grain. So we'll see. Of course, I'm not going to condemn it. It doesn't work for me. My one feeble attempt at doing this. I actually built a guitar previously that has a Paduk cap and a Sapelli body or back, and the idea was to just do it in oil, but the Sapelli that I use is a white Sapelli, and it's really light, and even though I oiled it, it has some issues with the wood absorbing, colors. Like, for instance, my Levi's colored the back of the guitar where it hits my pants when I'm playing. So I thought I need to go ahead and take that guitar apart and sand it and get it back to the color that it is. It's just natural colored, the Sapelli and the Paduk. I didn't want to alter or add any color to the natural colors there. So I need to kind of sand it down so that I get rid of that blue jean stain on the back of the guitar, and then I want to try this method on that guitar and see how well the grain fills. The Paduke is really porous. The Sapelli is very similar in you know, pore size, porosity, however you want to say it, to mahogany. But the Paduke has a much deeper, more open grain than the mahogany. So I thought that would be a good test. I actually used an acrylic grain filler. Aqua Coat, I believe, was the brand name of that stuff. And not very happy. I did a couple coats with that. I did a bass rehab on a 1970 old Starfire bass, and I did a grain fill on that, and I used the two-part epoxy grain fill method, and I had absolutely no success. I think it was old. It was not drying up whatsoever. So I'm just going to keep doing this. I just looked over and it's 11 minutes plus into this, and this is all I'm going to do for this video. So I'm going to call it done here, and I'm not going to know really how this is all working out until I let it dry and see if I can tell by looking. Usually it's hard to know for sure until you start putting your clear on. Anyway, that's what's going on here. So I'm going to be out of town for a while, so you don't expect to see too many of these until later on next week. All right, thanks for watching. Take care.